Hey, how's it going? It's Keith Townsend. I'm the CTO advisor and CTO advisor on the web. If you've never watched a vBrownBag with me, you should go back, Google the vBrownBag in which I do my Wallace and Revere impersonation. Hilarious. I've also done a couple of other vBrownBags on the proper weekly webinar. Go back and watch the piece on AWS security, or how to convince your manager about upgrading the core data center switch. Today, we're going to talk about disaster recovery in the cloud, specifically using the public cloud to recover your data center. So, wouldn't it be great if there was some magical way to use the cloud as a private data center? If you're a relatively small organization, you might look at larger organizations with Envy that have storage array to storage array replication. We're at HPE Discover, so maybe you can't afford to replicate your 3PAR from your primary site, have redundancy in a hot site, whether you're doing synchronous replication, but you still have the business requirement to recover your data center. Well, you look at the cloud and you think, wow, why can't I use the public cloud to recover my data center? I pay as you go. Disasters hopefully only happen once in a lifetime. So why not pay as you go for disaster recovery? We'll talk about that. First, we have to talk about business continuality before we even ever get into discussion disaster recovery. If you've not had the business continuality conversation with your senior IT management and business line folks, stop the video. If you're watching live, keep watching. But if you're watching this on YouTube, hit pause, go have that conversation. Well, don't go have it yet, because we're going to give you some pointers on having that conversation. For you IT-specific guys, for the guys in the trenches, the storage admins, the virtualization admins, think through the business processes. You have to understand what it is you're protecting. You're protecting the business. So when you're going to your CFO, when you're going to the GM of manufacturing, it's important that you understand the business processes. Some examples: payroll. How do people get paid? If the accounting system, whether it's SAP or ADP in the cloud, went down, how do people get paid in a case of a disaster? Vendor payment. How do you pay the vendors? What's the process to pay the people that support your business? Manufacturing. If you're a manufacturer, is your physical network and storage and application systems, are they required to do the business? And basically the order to cash process. When someone places an order, you do a service or you provide a product and you get paid. That whole process is called order to cash. How does it work in your enterprise? And how is technology tied to that? So what are some of the critical applications? Oracle Business Suite, SAP, Microsoft CRM, Exchange in the cloud. What are some of the critical services that run your business? So you've had that conversation. We're at HPE Discover, a software-defined infrastructure company that talks infrastructure. HPE focuses on compute, data, so storage, and network. We are focused on protecting the storage, compute, network resources within the data center. Wouldn't it be great if we could just magically plug our data center in with one wire from our private data center into the cloud and just replicate the two? Public cloud has virtual machines, private data center has virtual machines. Why not just replicate those things up to the cloud? Well, the reality is that the modern data center is a living organism that constantly changes. We have several areas to consider. Data protection or data replication is just one area that we need to consider. But let's think of a practical problem. Doesn't matter if you're a VMware shop or a Microsoft Hyper-V shop, neither one of those formats translates easily into the public cloud. You know, if I have a VMDK and I'm a VMware shop and I replicate a VMDK up to AWS, I can't do anything with that natively. I need some type of solution that's going to help me transform my VMDK into a format that my cloud provider accepts. Whether it's AWS, GCP, or Azure, we need some type of solution. Network dependencies or complexities. If you're in a fairly flat network, you know, you got a 192.168.x network and you got 12 devices, well, cloud networking isn't very complicated. But what if you have a PCI compartment? What if you have a database compartment? What if you have a pre-prod that's required in DR and a production network segment? What if you so big that you decided to make the collision domain small? Replicating that design into the cloud takes a lot of thought. And then there's service orchestration, just bringing all of those services up without any major hiccups in recovering your systems. So we're going to focus on just one of these quadrants, which is data replication. You're going to take a look at your data center. Chances are you have one of these products, whether it's Rubrik, Cohesity, Datrium, Commvault, Veeam, Zerto, and the list goes on and on. You're going to have some type of data protection solution. All of these solutions, to some varying degree, offers some orchestration and replication capability to allow you to recover your data center, at least recover the VMs in the cloud. You still have all the complexities of networking, service orchestration. You have all of those complexities, but these solutions help solve a couple of your challenges. The first thing we're going to talk about is data hydration. That process, I've gotten the VM, I've used the backup solution, whether it's Rubrik all the way down to Commvault. I've replicated my data into the cloud. Whether it's block storage, S3, I've gotten it there. Now I need to do something that's called hydrating the data. How do I make that data real? How do I convert the data from a VMDK to AWS AMI? Each one of these solutions have a different approach to doing that, and we'll talk about each solution from a high level. Rubrik will be the first one. They have a solution in their product portfolio called Cloud On. Cloud On is today compatible with AWS and Azure. This is a non-synchronous solution. What does that mean? In disaster recovery, there's two metrics we really care about. RPO, recovery point objectives, and RTO, recovery time objectives. RPO, how much data can I lose? RTO, how much time does it take to recover my systems? With Cloud On, it's a non-synchronous solution, which means that I can replicate within a 15-minute window to the cloud and not real time. It automatically converts the VM into AWS AMI format or a Azure compute format. Cohesity. Cohesity today is compatible with AWS. I think they might have recently announced a partnership with GCP. Cohesity is a backup target. So how is that different from Rubrik? We get this thing about Cohesity and Rubrik, you know, the difference, you know, Chris Wall versus Rollison deathmatch. You know, who will win, who will take all? Both of them really great solution. Rubrik is a end-to-end vertical solution. It has the backup software and it is also the storage target. Cohesity is also a full vertical solution. However, you can also use it as a target for products like Commvault, Net Backup, and such. You can also convert the VM into a AMI. Datrium. Datrium is a little bit of a hybrid of a product. You can't recover VMs in the cloud, but you can use the cloud as a transport. Datrium has a SaaS service that allows you to back up your Datrium DVX into the cloud and then synchronize that data to another DVX system. So you could have a DVX system with some older hardware sitting in a hosted data center, replicate up to the cloud. In the case of a disaster or in a DR practice, you can turn up that Datrium array and hydrate the data in that remote data center. Commvault. Well, what do we say about Commvault? It is a traditional backup solution. You probably have it in your data center already. People kind of look at me funny when I compare a Commvault to a Rubrik or a Cohesity or even to a Veeam product. What's so special about Commvault? Well, one, if you have 15 years of backups in Commvault, you have 15 years of backup in Commvault. It is disruptive to move from your traditional legacy backup solution to a new solution. So Commvault has gotten into the game, allowed you to now replicate into the cloud. It uses AWS, GCP, Azure, and Oracle Cloud. So of all the solutions I'm reviewing, it is one of the most widest ranging in support. Veeam. So Veeam is an interesting company. $1 billion in revenue, 300,000 customers. So that's around 3,000 customers per $3,000 per customer. Very, very VMware centric, very VMware friendly. Uses a provider network to provide DR. And then last, Zerto, which is very different from all these other solutions. Zerto is a DR specific solution designed to do replication real time from site to site. The big difference is that Zerto is not something that you may necessarily install yourself. It is sold specifically through third parties for disaster recovery. Want to learn more about this whole topic? Reach out to me on Twitter at CTO Advisor or follow me on the web, thectoadvisor.com. Thanks a lot.